The WNBA is rocking. What could we have more? I mean, I just think, you know, from a salary standpoint.
I mean, I'm just really happy for this organization, obviously. Yeah, I mean, look at these fans. They're incredible. So if it wasn't for them, I don't know if we'd be here.
But it seems like everything is going to be great for her because she's a great talent. She seems like a great gal. I hope she turns that franchise around.
600,000 fans. That's how many people came to watch the Indiana Fever this season. You know what's crazier? That's more than the entire population of Miami. And it all started with one rookie. Let's talk about how Caitlin Clark turned the Fever from underdogs to record breakers. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine a team that barely filled half their arena last year. Now picture them packing it to the brim game after game. That's the Indiana Fever's wild ride. Last season, they were struggling to get fans and seats. Only 4,067 people showed up on average. That's like having a party and only your cousins show up. But then something big happened. The Fever drafted a rookie who changed everything. This new player was like a human highlight reel. Suddenly, everyone wanted to see what she could do next. It was like watching a magic show, but with basketballs. But how did they go from empty seats to breaking records? Well, it all started with one draft pick that changed everything.
That's how skilled you are. It's the other end that y'all gotta start taking way more pride in and understanding like that is gonna win us games.
First time since 2016, this team has clinched a playoff spot. You guys learned about it last night.
So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
You know how some rookies need time to adjust? Well, this one came in like a wrecking ball and the entire league felt it. Enter Caitlin Clark, the human highlight reel. From the moment she stepped onto the court, it was clear she wasn't just any rookie. She was a game changer, a record breaker, and the spark that ignited a basketball revolution in Indiana. Clark didn't just join the Fever, she transformed them. Remember those 4,067 fans per game last season? That number skyrocketed to nearly 17,000 with Clark on the court. That's like going from a high school gym to a sold-out arena overnight. And we're not talking about a one-time thing. The Fever sold out 8 out of 11 home games. That's insane. But here's where it gets wild. Clark's impact wasn't just felt at home. On the road, the Fever were drawing an average of 50,315 fans. Think about that. Other teams were seeing their highest attendance of the season when Indiana came to town. It's like Clark had her own traveling circus, and everyone wanted a ticket. What made Clark so special? It wasn't just her skills, though those were off the charts. She set a WNBA rookie record with 88 three-pointers. That's like saying, hey, I'm new here, but I'm gonna rewrite the record books real quick. But it was more than that. Clark had this electricity about her. Every time she touched the ball, fans held their breath, wondering what magic she'd pull off next. And let's talk about those performances. Clark wasn't just playing, she was putting on a show. She'd make these impossible passes, sink threes from what felt like half court, and play with a confidence that had veterans doing double takes. It was like watching a veteran trapped in a rookie's body. The craziest part? This wasn't just about basketball anymore. Clark's games became events. You had Olympic gold medalists showing up, excited to watch her play. It wasn't just sports fans filling those seats. It was anyone who wanted to witness something special. Todd Taylor, the big boss at Pacers Sports and Entertainment, said it best. This wasn't like past bumps and interests. This felt different. It felt real. It wasn't just the Fever growing, it was the entire WNBA catching fire. And it wasn't just about butts and seats. Merchandise sales went through the roof. Social media was buzzing non-stop. Suddenly, everyone wanted a piece of the Fever, all because of this one rookie who played like she'd been in the league for years.
Made an effort to get up and put pressure on people. They're fast, I know, but if we can continue to do that, that's just gonna have to be a habit.
No regrets, and obviously there's still so much time left. Like, I want to be a national champion, and that's our goal.
And then her just confidence, you can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair, like she's a performer.
The buzz around the Fever was electric, but nobody could have predicted what came next. Remember when 400,000 fans in a season seemed like a big deal? The Fever were about to make that look like child's play. 600,000 fans. Let that sink in for a second. That's how many people showed up to watch the Indiana Fever Fever this season. It's not just a big number, it's a mind-blowing, record-shattering figure that's got the whole sports world talking. To put it in perspective, the previous record was 400,000, set by the Washington Mystics back in 1999. The Fever didn't just break that record, they obliterated it by an extra 200,000 fans. But here's where it gets really wild. The Fever's success wasn't just confined to their home court, they were like a traveling basketball circus, drawing massive crowds wherever they went. Other teams in the league started seeing their attendance numbers shoot up when Indiana came to town. It's like everyone wanted a piece of the Fever action. Take the Los Angeles Sparks, for example. When they hosted the Fever, a whopping 19,103 fans packed the arena. That's the largest crowd at a single game this entire season. It's not just about one team anymore. The Fever are lifting the entire league. And if you think that's impressive, wait till you hear about the viewership numbers. The Fever's All-Star debut, it averaged 3.44 million viewers. That's not just good, it's a 150% increase from previous highs. People weren't just showing up to games, they were glued to their screens, not wanting to miss a single moment of Fever magic. Let's break it down even further. At home, the Fever didn't just fill seats, they packed the house.
Do I need to call you the female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark? I mean, which one is it?
I think more than anything, it's like surprising, like you guys didn't know, like this is how women's sports are played. Like, come on.
Over 300,000 fans came through the doors of Gainbridge Fieldhouse this season. That's a new WNBA record for home attendance in a season. Remember last year when they were struggling to get people in the door? Now they're turning people away. But the Fever's impact goes beyond just their own games. The entire WNBA is feeling the love. Attendance across the league is up by nearly 20% on average. It's like the Fever lit a fire under the whole sport, and now everyone's catching the women's basketball fever. And let's talk TV for a second. The Fever aren't just breaking attendance records, they're smashing viewership records too. One of their games on NBA TV pulled in an average of 569,000 viewers. That's the highest ever for a WNBA game on that network. It's not just about being there in person anymore. People are tuning in from all over to catch the Fever in action. What's really crazy is how fast all this happened. We're not talking about a gradual buildup over years. This explosion of interest happened in a single season. It's like the Fever flipped a switch, and suddenly everyone realized how awesome women's basketball could be. So the Fever are packing arenas. Big deal, right? Wrong. Their success isn't just filling seats, it's reshaping the entire WNBA landscape.
Have opportunity to tweak the things that you've been doing and fix the things that didn't go well. So it's an opportunity to get better, and that's what I want to see.
You can also feel the buzz in the city about what we're going to be able to do. As long as we focus one game at a time, I think we'll be in a great spot. Perspective, what we're able to do, and the way people want to watch women's basketball and watch women's sports, and I mean, it's truly incredible.
From merch flying off shelves to new teams popping up, the Fever's impact is way bigger than you might think. Let's talk numbers for a second. WNBA merchandise sales, they're through the roof. We're talking a 500% increase overall. And player-specific merch, that's up by a mind-blowing 1,000%. It's like everyone suddenly realized they needed a Fever jersey in their life. But it's not just about looking good. The Fever are dominating the digital game too. They've racked up over 800 million video views across social media platforms. That's not just a big number, it's a game changer for growing the sport. Think about it. Every view is a potential new fan, and the Fever are serving up content like it's going out of style. Here's where it gets really exciting. The WNBA isn't just sitting back and enjoying the show. They're gearing up for some major moves. Remember when we thought 12 teams was enough? Well, hold on to your hats because the league is expanding. The Golden State Valkyries are joining next season, and there's a Toronto franchise set to hit the court in 2026. It's like the Fever lit a fuse, and now the whole league is ready to explode. You know what's crazy? This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about changing the game for women's sports as a whole. The Fever's success is proving that there's a massive audience out there hungry for top-tier women's athletics. And where there's an audience, there's money. That means better salaries for players, more investment in facilities, and a brighter future for the entire sport. But let's not forget where this all started. The Fever didn't just stumble into success. They made smart moves, drafted wisely, and created an experience that fans couldn't resist. They turned their games into must-see events. It's like they cracked some secret code to fan engagement, and now the whole league is trying to figure it out. And it's not just about the present. The Fever's impact is setting the stage for a whole new generation of players.
For myself, like coming in, right off my college season and then coming right to the WNBA, having that reset has been something that I probably haven't had in like a year. A lot of people at the time never thought Iowa women's basketball would be there in that moment, and obviously I was a freshman and our team was super young.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA.
Young girls watching these packed arenas and seeing the excitement, they're dreaming bigger than ever. We might be looking at the start of a golden age for women's basketball, all because one team decided to shoot for the stars. Think about the ripple effects. More fans mean more TV deals. Better TV deals mean more exposure. More exposure leads to more fans. It's a cycle of awesomeness that just keeps growing. And at the center of it all, the Indiana Fever, the team that decided to change the game. But here's the kicker. This might just be the beginning. If the Fever can do this in one season, imagine what the next few years could bring. We could be looking at a future where WNBA games are as big as any sporting event out there. And it all started with one team in Indiana that refused to settle for the status quo. Alright, let's wrap this up. The Indiana Fever's journey from underdogs to record breakers is something straight out of a movie. They didn't just fill seats, they changed the game. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the rookie who played like she'd been in the league for years.
I go pro and that's where I want to be. I want to reach the next level. I want to play in the WNBA. So those are my goals long term. Really allowed me to find another fire. And I think it just pushed me to work even harder and get better and, want to prove.
But this isn't just about one team or one player. The Fever's success is setting the stage for some big changes. We're talking better salaries for players, more games, and maybe even new teams. The whole league is leveling up because of what happened in Indiana. And you know what's wild? The Fever didn't just break a record, they broke the mold. They showed us what's possible when talent meets opportunity. So next time someone says women's sports can't draw crowds, just point them to Indianapolis. Future of basketball? It's looking Fever hot.